also changed the sprites. I've downloaded some. They're not particularly fantastic. They're duplicated with different palettes, a lot of them, but something to get us going with. What else did I change? If you remember, the bullet was staying alive and killing the other enemies. So now we just check, is the bullet alive on the collision detection. First thing we do. The other crafty little thing was when it was getting to the edge of the screen. No, I'm afraid it's not basic, my man. I'm not doing the basic. I think there's going to be quite a few tutorials out there for basic though, if you look around. Maybe one day I will. Maybe. Yeah, the last thing was that it was getting to the edge of the screen and I flipped the global direction and it was doing that midway through the loop, of course, as soon as one of them hits the side. Yeah, why not, Fioroy? Telling you, I found it remarkably easy compared to basic to remember stuff, because there seems to me to be less to remember. Of course, some things are dead annoying in assembly compared to like a managed code language or like a basic higher level language. I do think so, Specky, yeah. Yeah, and you seem to have more control over it here, less sort of barriers in your way sometimes. You know, sometimes you have to go through hoops to do it in basic, don't you? You know, a set way. I say that, but I don't really know how to code in basic, but I'm talking about like C# and Java when I say that, really. Yeah, the last thing, where did I put it? I think it's in the update. I created a new bool saying, does it need to be toggled the direction? So instead of instantly toggling, I set that to true. Every frame here it's being set to false. Then if at any point in that loop it gets set to true, and then at the end of the loop we do toggle the direction if it's true. Let's see how that works now. Does pretty much work now, to be honest. Already tested it. Oh, I've messed around with the palettes so they look a bit funny, but actually let's sort that out. Yeah, so I started, this is a way of messing around with the palette. I can just change the palette now and it's getting anded in down here, ored in, sorry. So we've got a constant for attribute 2, which is the 0, and then or in another 0, but it's enabled me to actually choose it up the top to change it without messing with the code. And there we go, looking kind of snazzy. I did change it so that the bullets could go off the border, over the top, but changed it back. For this simple game, I'm going to keep it all inside the border. I didn't even realise that you could draw onto the border. It's looking smooth now, isn't it? And as you can see, you can just kill the side guys if I can manage it. They don't get any faster yet, so that's the next thing. See, to do that, I'll have to modify the movement code quite a lot, actually. Start using both bits properly. Oh, it seemed to miss a shot there. Yeah, the way I sorted that out, Specky, I'll show you. I mean, it was simple as hell. I showed it right at the start. Here, look, that's all it needed. Because I'd been setting the bullet to be not alive, but this didn't care whether the bullet was alive or not. It was just checking the position where the bullet was. I don't reset that position until I fire the bullet again. So obviously this is all that's needed. It just stops the collision check, full stop. I've been reading away, trying to figure out layer 2, but I don't know, I messed more around with Ren and Stimpy instead. Ended up getting distracted. But I did read quite a lot of it, but I've forgotten it all straight away. Layer 2 is simple, much easier than ULA. Yeah, I thought it might be actually. I read that it's basically a screen the same resolution as the background of a ULA. But every pixel can be a different colour. There's nothing to worry about cells or anything like that. So therefore you don't need to worry about the colour. You just draw it in. But that's as far as I've got. I saw about this. I may as well show you what I'm reading. Oh, page does not exist. What? I'll just go the long way. See, I've been ignoring this wiki, thinking it was just not the documentation for some reason, but it basically serves as the documentation. I can see. Yeah, so I was reading about this bit here, or this byte. That's what confused me so far. I see that there's like these 3 banks. It does. I bet. It's one of them where I guess I need to see an example to. Oh yeah, I was also worried about this core 3 thing. In my code, I believe we're looking at core 2, but this doesn't exist. Don't worry about that. Okay. It's a shame there's not a little example there, really. I hope now they've got this big funding that they will do that. Because I understand it's a tech manual, it's not like an instruction guide. But oh, what am I doing? Well, that was one idea for today. I mean, I could just do something completely different. If you do MOOC, you'll be doing the community a massive service, I think. Because I have all the will in the world to learn, but sometimes when it takes too long to find something, I just get distracted, you know. I end up doing something different. How would one import a background image? No problem, micro. Fixing your brakes, that sounds like a bummer. Bitmap, yeah. So I could just draw it in GIMP. I've figured out how to do. Maybe I should show that on video quickly because that's something I didn't know about in sprite design. I've imported the next palette to GIMP, which is not what I was about to say. That was quite simple. You just click like new palette over here somewhere, one of them. But you have to make sure you're in the right mode. Make sure you're in indexed mode, and then you can export an 8-bit bitmap. Before I wasn't able to. But I'm still using your tool, Nuke, in the middle. I draw it here and then I import it to get, because I like your exporting tools for the assembly bit. But you see in here, in GIMP, I can draw half of a sprite, for example. I was having problems. It doesn't like to draw. Oh, look. I'm just having problems with slow PC. Yeah, but you know, I could draw half of a ball and then mirror it. Yeah. But yeah, just so people who didn't see that, if they're using GIMP, make sure you're on that setting. That's what I was buggered up with. Okay, thanks, Mook. In that case, I'll try and add some gameplay effects. Let's have a little play of the game again and see what's the most awkward thing, you know, most annoying thing. I guess speeding up the enemy as they. I'm not quite sure how it works. Is it just when it gets to the last few? Yeah, did you notice the bullet went over the border? I've still done that actually. I thought I got rid of that. Ah, also, they shouldn't move smoothly like that. It shouldn't be like interpolated, for want of a better word. It should be snapping. They should move like 16 cells at a time, and there should be a wait time. Every row they go down, they get faster. But they obviously move quite a lot slower than that to start with, than what I've got. But let's try that thing I just said first. Let's make it so it's steps instead of continually moving like that. Now this is going to be quite awkward. Quite a big change. This is their position, and it's a word already, which is great. Speed's only 1. It's actually really awkward actually when you think about it. I need a 24-bit number for X. But I don't need to worry about the smallest one of them bytes. I just need to use it as a sort of timer. Luckily, I don't think we need it. They all move in unison. Use 8.8. Yeah, but I'm already using that, aren't I? Because we've got that most significant bit thing for the X. But I've got an idea. See if it works. So I could actually make this a word as well. Let's try it just with a byte. Enemy move. I hate that. Always have to put one of them at the end so I can close them. Okay, micro nice. Um, do move. This is where we actually do the movement. I'd say it's here just before we call enemy move. This might just work, you know. So if it's over 255, then we'll move. It's a shame I jump in the move. Because now I either have to set the counter to 0 twice. I guess it could be done here actually. I hate that when the internet's slow. What a bummer. I mean, I will be uploading this to YouTube pretty much straight afterwards, but obviously you can watch it back on Twitch as well. I think it obviously doesn't lag if you're watching it back later. So we'll make the counter 0. So I think I've just hacked in a way of doing that, and now all I have to do is increment this. This. I only want to do it one time, not like throughout the loop. That actually looks okay. I think I've added some degree of control. I can change that number to make them quicker. Let's just see if that works. Eventually it should go up along. Whoa, only one of them. And they stayed there. Whoa. Change that to 10 a sec. So I've achieved what I wanted because I made the movement speed 16 now. But for some reason it's only happening to one guy. I still want to take a look at it though, with the 16 in there. I bounced off the wrong bit as well. Interesting. But that's okay. That's to do with power of 2 and multiples and that like we were talking about yesterday. I can figure all that out. That's not a problem. I'm more worried about why they're not all moving. That's why. I unfortunately either need to change these to be calls. Let's try that first. So now I have to push AF to keep the flags. And just double check. I think that'll work. Save next. Yes, I am. There's that. I'll let you look at that quickly. I'm gonna roll myself a cigarette. There was Tools Fury. I wanted to explore that sort of stuff, but I don't know what to add to that. It's like commands, isn't it? Chat commands. I need to up my game. I can load a bitmap using that. Okay, that's incredible. I take it has to be a very specific type of bitmap. I'll just export it as an 8-bit bitmap like I was talking about in GIMP a minute ago. Wow, is it that simple? And then you can just reference it somewhere, can you? I appreciate your time and effort, Emook. I really do. You've saved me weeks of fiddling around with certain things. I believe I've just fixed that problem, and they're all going to move now. They might not move correctly because they might go too far off the edge of the screen. Oh, it's still only one. Okay, okay. I definitely compiled it, didn't I? Yeah. Firstly, I'm changing it to 8 instead of 16. In fact, 4. No, 8. They're probably done by the compiler. It must want to know where it is. It probably just goes into the project folder in the root. Paste bin, thanks man. Appreciate that. How does it? How do I reference that? That's the only thing in my code. You know, I haven't given it a name or anything. Put them in the next file. Most people like a single next file. So just change to your stack. That does seem simple so far. Are you telling me I need to make a change to my stack size or something? my guess is that the answer is no to that, but I just wanted to make sure. Okay, nice one. So I noticed this is a dynamically settable variable. So is the compiler actually using some data? It's interesting. I know it's not a compiler, strictly speaking, is it? I'm using the wrong word there. Interesting. I'll draw something up in GIMP in a minute. Just, I'll import some random background mosaic color test sheet or something. But let's try and figure out that problem I was just having, because I think it's something quite simple here. I've got this global timer. Of course. I can only set. I need to do a similar thing I did with the direction, I think. Well, in fact, is it simple as just it's just putting it in that end of loop bit I made? Where have I put this? Oh, okay. I I got what the stack was, but I didn't know we had to implement it like that. Interesting. I'm glad you lot are around, because honestly, I'd be stuck still doing that bit if I didn't have any help from you guys. Without a shadow of doubt. I think I can just put it into the end of update loop. I was doing it at the end of one of the first one I got to. Or all of the ones. Oh, I've got an error now. Oh, bitmap. Oh, what's going on here? Core 2 maybe. I had config 4 there as well. What the flip? Just try that. Of course they're not moving. So the reason for that they are not moving is because I'm setting it to 0 every frame. I'm probably going to need to do like a similar thing there to what I've done there to say yes, we have moved this frame. It's a cop-out way of doing it though, this. There must be a way of doing it in the existing loops. I mean, I suppose I could wait until I've got to that port when I've moved that one, then I know it's the end, but that's a bit rubbish as well, so I think I'll do it like this instead. whilst we're setting that to false, we'll make sure enemy moved is false. Make a new routine, enemy, reset, move, counter. And here, if we have moved, we call that routine. Just making sure I haven't left it over somewhere else. Perfect. Okay, once I've got our movement code working, I'm going to look at why that was not working. Hey, well, that's a start. We're moving together. For starters, just slow that down. I think that'd be too slow. Huh. Very strange. Probably save next auto. Let's have a look then. We've got it kind of working there. Definitely needs some work though. I'll put the core back. You had it on 3. Oh yeah, I didn't even notice to save next auto. Again, I got them working with the help of micro and was just content to have them. Seems to work now. That's great news. So if the move counter so technically that should be 1 second. But we know it's not going to work. I think I'll run it just to try and glean some information and then I'll study the code again. It's like it waits that one time and then it's just constant. That's flipping weird. What have I done here then? So this part gets called absolutely every frame. One time, sorry, every frame before the loop begins. But this part is called for every enemy. Of course, we still want to check for the collision of bullets. It might work better to make an exact loop like this again, and that way you can only call it that whole loop when you want to move, but this should be the same sort of thing, to be honest. It only reaches this after it has looped through every enemy. I think I know. I think it's moved. I set it false there. Check that it's true there. Yeah, so it's never getting reset. It never gets made true, I should say. So this never gets called. Enemy move. I mean, it can just go at the bottom here. Whoa. That was weird. So if we make it true there, it becomes untrue after the loop finishes. What, when you mean counting however many? Because I wanted to. They don't. Before I was moving them 1 pixel every frame. That's perfect now, anyway. Well, the problem was, it was too smooth, the movement before. It was nothing like the real Space Invaders. Yeah, thanks, Micro. That's basically perfect, like the real game now. Really, I know the borders aren't correct anymore. Because, like you discussed yesterday, like you were telling me, I have to watch my multiples, where I start them all, what speed they can go. Does that match up exactly with the screen size, etc. Yeah, I always get there. Well, most of the time I get there in the end. It's kind of cool having them being able to go off the border as well. I don't mind it, but I will change it eventually. It's just a case of changing a couple of numbers. I might even get rid of one column of enemies. Leaves it a little bit lacking though. No, I'm gonna actually do what Microman suggested, which is what the real game does, I think, which is every time they hit the side, they move down a touch and speed increases. The way to increase speed is to make a value for this. So for example, we could start really easy at 100. And obviously start them higher up on the screen as well. A little bit. That's too easy, isn't it? Well, then again, with the well, it's a bit too easy, but it'd probably be wise to actually keep it power of 2 anyway. So I think power of 8. Sorry. No, power 2. So I think 64 will be our best one. It is quite close, isn't it, now? I think there's not enough enemies, but that's just the way it is. We're using 16 by 16 character cell. Very slow, but of course, as soon as they hit the edge, I'll speed them up. But perhaps I should look at doing the background first. You reckon? We're halfway through doing this bitmap stuff, but I can probably get that in pretty quick, to be honest. We already know when they toggle direction here. The question is, how much do I want to take off each time and does that want to be exponential or increasing each time they go down, or is it a constant? Let's pretend it's a constant for a second. Let's say let's move this move counter down where the ball is, and then enemy speed increase. Don't know. Just doesn't actually matter what we call it, does it? So every time we toggle direction, of course, I haven't actually got the variable yet. I was just using a hard-coded number. Where's it gone? Here. I'd say that's called like an interval. It's like a space of time between each move. I can move enemies closer together, yeah. The problem is, well, yeah, I can. Very easily. I'll show you in a moment. So sometimes you would have a constant there to remind you of what the start is, but I'll just code it in. To move them closer together, I could just change these values here. Okay. Drop by 8. I see, yeah. We're doing a lot of things at once here now. I'm changing this back, this spacing. I'm just going to leave them as they were, the padding. Because I've just thought about 4 different things at the same time now. I've screwed up. But I know what you. One of the things you said was the most important was the amount to move down. I hadn't even remembered that. So we've got the speed increase and we move down at the same time whilst we're toggling direction. So it's actually quite a big old routine. This really doing quite a lot. The first thing I'll do is the speed only, because the Y oh no, I can still do the Y as well. Um, so we want the interval into the accumulator. Subtract. I've forgotten what I named everything. Yeah, I am too, mate. Speed increase. But it is best when you're programming, especially when you're a novice, but even if you know what you're doing, it's best to compile and run it very often. If you try and do 2 or 3 things at once thinking, oh yeah, that'll be alright, you can end up, that's how you end up messing up a project where you don't even want to carry on because you don't even know where you went wrong, you know what I mean? But tiny chunks, it's very easy then. So I should have sped it up. But all them ideas were good, which is what's making it even harder for me to ignore. I'm trying to rush them all in before I forget them. Veruca salt. So how much is this going to speed up by? It's way too slow at the moment anyway, isn't it? Right, let's test this out. Let's make that 32 as well. Should be pretty quick now, shouldn't it? See, something's up. Something's not working with what I've done. It seems the same speed. It's certainly not twice as quick. Something to do with that compare on the interval, I think. Yeah, that's exactly the same, isn't it? If anything, it was slower. It's this bit here, I think. Which probably means, did I do the same thing down here? No, I think that's alright. Good, it's at least responding to the interval now. And the decrease is 4, or increase. Let's rename that. Enemy. Oh, I would have thought it would get noticeably faster. Doesn't seem to be. It seems to be getting straight up to top speed. Ah, that's called by everyone. Has she? No, it isn't. Cycling through. Maybe. Because I knew I had to obviously come up with a bottom value for that and stop it going any lower. But at the moment, it doesn't seem to do anything. Let's try 128 there a second. 1, 8 there. It'll still just go full speed, won't it? Yeah, something's up. Mm, mm. I'm jumping right above it. I'm glad I didn't stop messing around too much. I think that'll solve it. Can I turn these into calls? Certainly no reason why I can't. It still doesn't explain really why it was getting to the fast speed. No, it doesn't. Annoying, it was working. Yeah, they're the wrong way round. So now if counter is more of an interval, that's what it should have been all along. Let's try 48 there. Wherever we reduce the interval, which is down here, obviously I want to check and only do that if interval is above a certain number. But first I want to see it work. Okay, it's looking good. Should just get a bit faster each time. Maybe it did. Should make it more noticeable. That seems faster. Yeah, for sure. So the mechanism's there, but the values need to be tweaked. A bit like the rest of the game. Like Microman said, it bounces off the edge and gets faster, but also when there's fewer enemies, it also gets faster. So this doesn't need to be so severe. I put a minimum interval. Yeah. Well, I'll just say that for now, but I could, when there's only a few enemies left, we could just ignore that. Doesn't it get faster off the edge? I thought it did. Is that a fact? That would be a shame to code all that in there for no reason, though, wouldn't it? It'd be a shame to delete it now. Get too hard. Don't know. Let's try it. Let's try it then. Just leave it in there for now. And also do your approach. So at the end, when you get down to like the 3 left, the interval will get even lower. Damn, I forgot what I was doing. I changed these values, but did I need to change anything in the code? Thought I did. Oh, I don't use this yet. So if this was all we were going to do in this routine, I could just do the compare and return. But I don't need to load it twice. So it's going to return if it's under that. So I'll put 17. Again, I probably have to worry about my multiples later and sort all these values out. The problem is, I also want to move down. That's okay. We can do that here. I probably will make a routine for moving down though. We'd want to check the position of the lowest enemy to make sure it doesn't move through the bottom of the game. But we don't need to worry about that actually, because that'll be a game over scenario. Okay. Good job, Specky. I mean, had I have known that before I wrote this code, I would have stuck with that. But now I'm going to deviate and do both. But as I said a minute ago, it'd be much less severe, the wall one, the wall speed up. I can change this min interval to something really high like 32 if I want to. Like I say, once you get down to a few enemies left, I'm going to have another way of not using that interval. So it's going to be time to draw the barriers in soon. They're going to be one of the hardest bits to implement, really, aren't they? In fact, that's a very interesting question on Space Invaders. Yeah, why not, Specky? Why not? Because this is far too easy, isn't it? For most people. Oh, the collision didn't work. One of them was a bit off then. I think that's just the I mentioned it when I coded it. If you call your collision check before move, or vice versa, I can't even remember. But you can get them sort of effects. It's very easy right now. But I tell you what, it's not going to be easy making them barriers that you can shoot through. That's going to be very difficult for me. But hey, yeah, the UFO, that's going to be simple. Dropping bombs, why not? Why not? Some of the aliens did fire in one of the versions I played as well, yeah. I think in all versions, actually. Good point. Let's get him moving down. Enemy toggle direction. I believe that is not inside a loop. The UFO? I don't think the UFO shot, but I think the aliens did. That's just my memory of the game. You could shoot the gunfire as well. You could shoot the weapon. Like they fired at you, but you could shoot it. But I tell you what, that barrier thing is tricky because we're not drawing pixels here anymore. Yeah, I'll move them up the screen. Like I say, this is just playing around, getting the mechanics going. I mean, I can tell you right now that I'm never gonna finish this game. I can tell. I can just tell straight away. Whoops. So I'm not too worried about the polish. That's what I'm saying there. It's more about learning the system. Oh, what a bugger. Oh, it's quite awkward sometimes. There we go. So let's move them to the UFO is only going to be 16 high. So let's move these to 20. There we go. Too many half games. I don't know, man. I don't know. I've got quite a few. Quite a few almost finished. The majority of game devs prototype. They don't really make full games. You design like a character with all of his like different power ups and different abilities, or you create like particle effect. But the idea is to create something that you can bolt into games whenever you want. Of course, you've got to be advanced enough to know how to just draw a background. I don't even know that yet. So let's move them up. That was quite simple. Too high though. I forgot about that. There's a 32 space gutter. So they were already almost at the maximum. Perhaps it's time to make the border black and just forget the border. No, I can't because that layer 2 is only the size of the inner screen. Yeah, I can't wait, Micro. I'm looking forward to it. Pixel explosions and stuff. I want to learn like stuff, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, it seems pretty powerful as well. Like you could just have a hard-coded, pre-baked explosion in sprite form. Yeah, but I've had loads of help, Specky. Just do it. I've got sprites over the border, but you can't do layer 2 background. But let's do it anyway. Where was my border painting code? I don't even think I need that now, but oh, it's not even black. There must be another one somewhere. Background, that makes sense. Yeah, I was playing around with the palettes earlier actually. But oh, some little effect. Ham baked in the oven with scalloped potatoes and carrots. Whoa. Sunday every day. Alright, so we're making use of the full window now. Still haven't moved them down though. I'm half tempted to do another ball, because then I can already just use this same loop where I move them. Yeah, why not? It might come up with the same problem though. I used to be fussy with what I eat, but I eat pretty much anything now. Scalloped potatoes, I've never even known what they are. I always hear them. Specky nut. That's the point. Did I get the new emote yet? No. When are they going to approve it? There's going to be a new one soon. But nice one, Emook. Thank you so much. For now, because I'm halfway through doing one, I'll paste it into tools and just comment it out for later. Come back to that shortly. So it gets set to false at the beginning of the loop. If it's true by the end, perhaps this time for this one I should set it false here. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, and as soon as I've done this, I'll take a look at that background thing. So basically it checks if move down is true. If it is, it moves them all down. Move down gets set to true in toggle direction, which is at the end of the loop. So by the time it gets to the start of the loop, it's back onto the first enemy and it does all of them. And then it gets set to false again. Move down, just needs to move them all down. It's already pointing now. Let's just remember what I was doing with 2, 3, 5. Is it 5? I think 4. Oh, because I started from 1, I needed to start from 0 when I counted that. So that's the Y little byte. What did I call it? So ages ago I made it. Let's put amount. Okay, might work. Pork for me. I hope it's pasted. I do as well. Ah, it didn't go down, did it? Bugger. Gonna have to speed them up in a minute just for while we play it. It's definitely not going down. It's a shame. Make sure. It seems to have slowed down. Oh, that's not meant to be moved down anyway. That was still a bit strange though. Oops. Okay. Oh, I've got an error. 293. Put the bracket in the wrong place. Whee! Didn't notice it getting any faster, but I suppose it is actually. I'll change that to change it to 8. That's half of their height. Probably needs to be 16. Oh, that's definitely not the right one. Change that to 8. Yeah, it was just so we could see if it definitely dropped. So that's going to fix that, but I guess they're moving a little bit fast. No, it's about right. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's not terrible either. Oh, that was. I've got to try and fix that now. And I think it's a simple case of putting this bullet collision call after the movement. Hopefully that fixes it. And then after this, I'm definitely going on to the background, which Emu could kindly help, use this time helping with. So. Trying to work out if the collision's better or worse now. I'd say it's probably better. Oh, I don't know, it still had a bit of a glitch going on there. See, it missed then. Well, not to worry. It's good enough for now. It probably needs a bit of tweaking in the values, wherever they're contained. There's a routine called collision here. It's just these hard-coded values. They need a bit of a tweak. Right, let's take a look at Emu's code. So that's a program in itself. Ink bin, okay, easy, easy. So one.binary, one.bitmap, I take it that contains nothing other than the binary representation of the picture. No label, no nothing. That's a next register. Is this two different registers? Okay. Okay, thank you. Let me create a bitmap called one.bitmap. I'm just loading GIMP and I'm going to put it on the screen. Point there to at bank 40. That sounds simple. Let's do it. So it's 256 by 192, yeah? See if we can see that then. If you don't do what I'm doing here, it'll output it as a 16-bit binary, the bitmap with GIMP. Oh, why is it using the wrong palette? There we go. Alrighty. So I was just showing a quick look at the oh, you can convert it easily in that. Yeah, okay, nice. But what I've just exported was an 8-bit bitmap from GIMP in BMP format. I take it that needs to go into the project root, yeah? into where main is. So that's there. Huh, interesting. Let's split that to the right. Need the MMU bit. I was going to get to that, yeah. For some reason, I'm just working backwards. I'm just wondering about this org. Is that bit you were talking about with pointing it at a certain bit of memory? Okay. I see. So I guess could just the same do that there. Turn on layer 2. Okay. I was wondering that. Thank you. Look how simple it is that with the layer 2. I was reading about all that byte there. And yeah, I don't know what the MMU is. Very good question. I've used it in my run.bat. Brilliant. So we've uploaded bitmap to a certain bit of memory here. I'm unsure what that bit does. And then we're pointing layer 2. I mean, it's going to be great if it just works, but obviously I've got some work before I fully understand it. Ah, I have an error. Error opening file 1.bitmap. I wonder if this file's not right. I need to put it through your software. What the hell? Can't even find it. It's in the root folder, isn't it? Sorry, export bitmap. Okay, that exported. It's now called 1A. Yeah, but I have got it in the right place. Look, it's in the same place as main.next, main.asn. But if it doesn't open this one, then I'm sure that's the case then, because this came from your app. Why is it trying to? Ah, that's still there. That's why. That's better. Hey, it's back to front, but it's a bloody good start. Yeah, that was a big dull moment. It's funny how just that blue line in the background even makes it look much better. I can't wait to get a fully drawn out, fully rendered background image. I could get a universe now, couldn't I? Like a snapshot of Nebula or something. That sounds like a cool idea, actually. I think I'll do that. Some tick boxes. Oh, to unflip it. Thank you, mate. Oh, yeah, I see that now. I wasn't sure. I've been trying to use that and wondering what it did. Let me download an actual image of a nebula. Or supernova or something. Oh, this one looks cool. Let's see how the Spectrum next handles this awesome stuff. Oh, it's got a big thing cut out of it. Something like that. Oh my god. 8,100 pixels by 7,000. Here we go. 800 by 600. Let's get this in there. It's a start. Right. I'm going to try and just drag this into your app in a minute. Can it import JPEG, yeah? Turn it into a bitmap? I think it can. I've got files scattered around all my computer now. It's annoying. If I tick resize, will it resize it to a to the Spectrum screen size for me? I'll just try it now, but it's going to be great if it does. Where's it put it? I can't find it. Nice one, mate. I'll tell you now if it works. It's a great piece of software. Because I'd still be messing around in GIMP trying to get it to fit in Spectrum Next otherwise. I've got too many windows open here, I'm getting slowed down by it. Massively. That's a massive step in the upwards direction, being able to import this stuff. Thank you for your help. Well, hey, it didn't quite look as good as I thought it would, but it looks pretty goddamn good nonetheless. When you import images like that, you've got to be clever with the colours. You know, you've got to realise the limitations of the system. Wowzers, yeah, pretty cool. I think the scaling might have messed it up a bit actually. By if I'd have scaled it in a proper thing first and took the right size chunk. Give that a try. Why not? Yeah, that's fair enough, Mook. It's it's hard to get good scaling because I know GIMP, they struggle even downscaling. You can get software online where it does it online for you for pixel art, and it's brilliant, you know, to upscale and downscale. But GIMP really struggles with it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to I'm going to crop it to the right size rather than scale it. My computer's really slow at this moment because I've got so many things open. Oh god, that's the rubbish one. I've lost a decent copy. So it's meant to be 256. I know you can't see it. I'm getting stressed out with keeping switching it all around. My keyboard's not working properly either, which is another annoyance. Another thing is, it might go invisible. There might be some magenta in there. Okay, nearly done. A looping background. Do you mean like seamless? Seamless and longer than the screen, yeah? You would use it for parallax, for example. Um, I mean, I'll just get a tiled background in a minute. I'll use my channel background, retrocoder. The tiled, got a tiled background of that. Yeah, that'd be brilliant, mate. Thank you. It certainly would. I'm just going to finish off what I'm doing here, getting mixed up. In fact, all I've got to do is just drag it into the project now. Finally. Something that should have took a minute took me 5 minutes. So yeah, it still doesn't handle it. It doesn't look anything like the JPEG, but it's got that retro feel to it. It's cool. I love it. Of course, when you make a game assets, you draw them pixel perfect for the size already, don't you? I mean, this was like a massive HD image I just took this out of. I like it a lot though. Right, let's try and find a seamless. It doesn't even matter if it's seamless or not, because if we get the seams, we know why. If I just get a bigger background. So basically, should I get one that's big? Any old background that's big. Just wondering, my retrocoder background might be a bit too big. And of course, I've got to turn it into a bitmap, haven't I? Ah, okay. Oh well, don't worry about it being seamless then, because we'll see the seams, but we'll know why they're there. It's because the picture isn't seamless. I'm really good at making seamless art. I used to actually do it a lot. There's a way of making almost any graphic seamless. I could make that space image seamless, but it would take time. It's not worth doing. If you're actually making a real game, it's obviously worth doing. Let's see if I can figure out how to scroll a little beauty. That's really cool. But the thing is, surely that's a better feature if you can make it larger than the screen. Oh, okay. Next reg 17x. In the update loop, I take it, yeah? Yeah. So let's move this into the background now and see if that works. Get that working. Background paint. We don't need that. I use the word start because people with Unity will be familiar with that. I'm just going to let it error and find out where it is. Game line 4. God, I forgot what that's doing. Oh, that opens up the borders. Kai Mook, where would I be without you, man? I'm going to continue using OX instead of $. I know I've been using it there, but I just don't. Pressing shift just does my head in too many times. Can you really do? You can't do that, surely, can you? Probably has to be an A. No, okay. That was asking too much, wasn't it? Yeah, use A. I was going to say, I've just thought maybe because it was a next reg, maybe they'd come up with a way of doing that. But We've still got BGX in A. I bet it gets clobbered though. Okay, thanks Emook. That's much like the other registers, like some of the other things that I use as well. Okay. Will A be alright, yeah? Because it could get used, can it? I'm going to load it again to make sure. You know, sometimes I've done in K and it hasn't worked the same. Hasn't worked the same as adding one. So I just need to call update. Just put it there. Yeah, that's what I've got. Except for I've got the unnecessary loading of it again. Because I couldn't guarantee that A was going to be alright after using that. Because I didn't know what it does. Oh, look at that beauty. It's a beaut. It's weird that it's going along on X though. You know, Y. That's good to know, thanks Mook. Oh, it didn't like that. Look at this. It condensed the background down into like a singularity. Just thought I'd try it. Only 16. Extreme opener. What with that line thing flying down? Ah, there we go. Look. Love it. Let's change that name to Y. Ah, right. The clipping. So can it be extended to a larger size? Or is it already at maximum? Can it be zoomed, I guess is the word. It would be great to be able to extend it to the edge of the screen by maybe increasing the size somehow. Are you sure? Oh, okay. I was going to say, because I was reading it and it said it was the same size as the other thing, the bit I read. But obviously it takes a trick to get it bigger. Ah, clever. That was very easy, wasn't it? I need to read up on these next wedges. I was reading them when I was at work the other day. I read about multiply, the opcode. There were a few other cool things I read about as well, but I forgot them already. Yeah, so that's basically just an offset, isn't it? Oh, I do delivery driving. Boring job, but it's quite easy. Yeah, nothing special, unfortunately. Get grease under your fingernails. I used to fix my car and stuff when it goes wrong, but I just can't do it anymore. X offset register, yeah, that's what it is. I can tell now how that works. That makes a lot of sense to me. Thank you, man. I'm going to be studying that wiki over the next few days and weeks. The thing is, my brain can only take little bits at a time, you know. If it's too much new stuff, it's too hard, you know. I have to sort of repeat. I learn a few new things and repeat them all over and over again for quite a while till they sink in. Yeah, they're too hard to work on. Even the brakes, though, to be fair, I could probably do it myself, but it's just a disaster waiting to happen, you know. So I end up just paying. And it pees me off because you drive off, drive in and the car's lovely, just needs new brakes. You drive out and then there's all these rattles and it doesn't seem to drive as nice. Yeah, I do, micro. You're right there. And then eventually you do learn little extra bits that you didn't realise on the first go round, if you know what I mean. Yeah, for two, right? But I'm targeting like by next, like you know, by Christmas time, make a really good game by then, you know, or at least have it started where it would have several levels, save game function, maybe storyline, characters. Caveman, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. I can't wait to get that emote for you guys. I made a funny one. Caveman hitting a computer. I've run out of ideas of what to add like on this one. Perhaps I'll lose the scrolling for now. It was nice to have it, but it's an added pain in the arse right now because of what was I going to say? Because of coming up with a seamless background, you know. ITO. Yeah, man. I totally agree with that, Mook. If you look at it and then there's like 100 different things that you don't understand, it's just screwed, isn't it? You need it in the most simple form. Any good artists out there want to draw a background, whiz it over to me. I'll pop it in the game. I've got to come up with some background because that's a bit distracting, that one. But I'll do that later because I can spend a nice bit of time on my own and do that. Get a half decent looking one. I do wonder though, what do you reckon to this, Emook? Let's say we wanted to make a game where you could walk around, you know, like a dungeon, like Gauntlet, but you wanted to be able to use. It's going to have to be the tile map, isn't it, for that? Could I use, say, 4 bitmaps, and when I scroll it, show half of one and half of another? Use tile map. Yeah, I was thinking that. Make the background shake. Maybe. Okay, will do, Mook. I'll load that now. It's another big progress day, though, if you ask me this. There's a lot been added already here. We've refined the movement. It's very similar to the real Space Invaders. You know, yes, we've got that added complicated bit, but that's like not a bad thing. Okay, is it this Mega Man thing? You can see the sprite scrolling correctly. Oh, I see. I just muted it. What is that about the clipping, though? I don't understand. I mean, I get what's happening. I get the effect that it creates. I achieved that another way on my code, but maybe I can't do that anymore. I just used to not draw if it was past the screen on a pixel level. Ah, okay. Cool, cool. I mean, luckily, we don't need it here, but I was honestly, I'm probably hard. So I come out with these questions and I don't give you full context. But I was thinking of making a Final Fantasy 1 style game, which I believe, honestly, is quite simple actually compared to even Mega Man or something. Mega Man's way harder than Final Fantasy. But I do think Final Fantasy would get a lot of attention, you know. So, and it's a lot of fun doing them battles, you know. It would be fun to make a turn-based battle. That's it. Do you remember I made a game like that, didn't I? I did make a game. Oh, it was Spiky in Space, wasn't it? Where everything scrolled in. Mhm. Yeah, so tile map is the way to go, is what you're saying, yeah? That's going to be the next big task for me, tile maps. Can't wait to do that though. That's going to unlock everything. RPGs, platformers. I mean, that Mega Man clone looked amazing, by the way. It might as well have been the real thing. Need to change that background. Let me quickly just change it to some stars or something. Ah, it's just tiles then. I guess I've just got to learn how to reference the tiles in the first place. Oh, my internet's playing up something rotten, man. Do you remember when you could just search an exact size without having to write anything? Did they really? That's amazing, man. A NES core. So it thinks it's a NES, basically. Is that right? Does it run off the same technology as the RetroArch kind of stuff then, does it? Wow. Cool, cool. I knew it was running on FPGA, but I didn't think it could just do that. You'd think it'd have to be quite powerful to emulate even the NES, wouldn't you? Because it has like that PPU or whatever it's called. BBC core. I see. I heard about that already, but that didn't surprise me as much because it's like also an old system. Well, I mean, as old as the Spectrum, and it's not a games console. I was trying to search for an image exactly the same size as the screen. Oh, thanks, Mook. That might be something. When I'm on my own, like coding alone, I can actually take things in a lot better, of course. So I might be able to just read through it and actually use it. But yeah, I see you got a bunch of macros, so I get scared straight away. But now I'm not so scared because I know what they look like. Image size, that's what I need to do. That's better. Right, I found some little size. There's a Borg cube. Try this one out. Okay, so that changed it. Looks a little bit better. Yeah. It's definitely getting there. It's interesting. I'm sure them sprites had an outline at some point. Seems to have gone. What I hope to do is by the time I come online tomorrow is actually maybe get some sort of working implementation of a tile map that collision bugged out. I want to try and get some sort of implementation of a tile map and probably start a different game. I don't think I have the motivation to polish this one off. This is more of a learning experience. Maybe I will revisit it and make it really cool one day. Works for you. Good, good. Have you already got it in action? Wow. Process your assets first. When you say process, do you mean I've got init sprites here, for example. It inits all the sprites at the start. I'd probably do it alongside that, down like here. Or maybe even before. Tiles are 4-bit. Okay, I see. So maybe my next task should be actually to use some 4-bit sprites first. Lots of tools out there. Yeah, because I suppose it's quite a common thing, yeah? It's not just the Next that does that. Swapping in mid-game, let's have a think. You'd have to move it to that memory, wouldn't you? I wonder if you could do ink bin, do another image. And then I'm not sure, Michael. I was just thinking all the same things you're saying there in my own head. There's probably other ways. You probably don't have to display it like in this way. I mean, really, you only have to move the data from the bitmap into the area of the memory, don't you, that you want it. My guess would be you could ink bin space 2. I'm not sure why it's 1078. That must be like the header. Yeah, that's like include binary, isn't it? And I guess it's just popping it in there. But there are other ways of doing that for sure. I've never done that yet. There is definitely another way of getting it to that bit of data. I only want the bitmap data. But why is it 1078? Because a bitmap is 256 bytes, you know? Ah, okay. Wait, the palette is 1024 bytes. Oh, it's got alpha. Hmm. Yeah, I'm much confused. Because I thought magenta was the alpha, and therefore it didn't need an alpha channel. And the next, RGBA. So it's 1 byte per color per pixel, which would be 4 byte. Okay. So it's a 32-bit bitmap. Okay. I have to get my head around it though, because it's bloody convenient being able to just import bitmaps rather than export it into assembly and then have a loop, put it byte by byte into a piece of memory. It's a rabbit hole, yeah. Because I am kind of tempted to learn a way of storing like this and then being able to move it about and manipulate it at runtime, you know. But that's bloody, I don't know what the word is, but it's bloody convenient. Just literally include bitmap, draw bitmap. It's just like so easy, isn't it? We could manipulate that there, yeah, but like Micro says, say you wanted to just change it to another one for level 2, store many in RAM. That's what I was thinking. So you do that. I did have 2 a minute ago, but I stupidly deleted the other one. It's hard to find these things. Oh, I've just got to get a new computer. This is terrible. Well, I've got a more plain one here. Loading it into UDG. Export it. Call it space 2. Hang on. Am I getting confused with the hex again? Not really. Yeah, I'm a long way from understanding it, to be honest. I'm trying to read back through your comments earlier about the MMU right now. I get that kind of. I kind of get that. I don't understand any of it, to be honest. Like this bit here. I know exactly what the hex value represents. That's not the issue. Got much reading to do. Got to read up. For example, why didn't you just put 40 there? Why did you put 20 times 2? Was that? But then also, I still don't get why 3 there would change. I don't know. A bit screwed up in the head with that one. I would have never figured that out on my own. Going back to the layer 2 second, reading about it. Two banking methods. Alright. Okay. Ah. So that's why you put times 2. Okay. The layer 2 screen occupies 48 kilobytes, which is stored in 3 consecutive banks. By default, banks 8 to 10 are used for the visible layer 2 screens, and banks 11 to 13 for the shadow layer 2 screen. These can be set using layer 2 RAM paging $12 and layer 2 shadow page register 13. Avoid banks 5 and 7 to be used as layer 2 screen unless you're familiar with SRAM and BRAM. This is pretty amazing though. I'm even more excited about doing the tile maps later, but I think I've got to understand this bit first. Go, if you go back to next reg 12, 20. Okay. Clicked it. Oh. This looks nice and clear, man. Thank you. Why does the palette use up so much space though? Like, surely you should only need the palette one time. Oh. Yeah, my brain can't cope, can it? Oh, okay. It's not size. Right, I see. Ah, so it's like saying include this bitmap, but start at section 10078 from that, from the start. I see. Thank you so much, mate. The only thing now that I need to figure out, which I'm sure I can do by myself, unless you know it, unless you can summarize it in one word or whatever, but you've you've got the hex 20, then hex 23. Free. What the hell is the free for? Where it goes from 20 to 23. No, okay. See, I thought 23 was the lowest number. I don't see any zeros after it. I also notice your org to the same address, which seems pretty convenient. So we're not even using any extra memory. Oh, plus the extra bit, I see. Right, it's all clear now. You've just cleared it all up for me. Thank you. So this must be like up a bit or something, like up a byte, because if it was the lowest bit, if it was that, the 3 would still be a 3, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be anything to do with 48. But I get it now, I think. Ah, I see now. Oh, dude, you're a genius. You're so good at explaining it all as well. Yeah, because I see what he means by that comment. Because that is still true, that comment. It's just not like specific so much to that line necessarily. I might be talking BS there because I'm still a little bit hazy, but I think I get it now. Aha. Okay, that could be incorrect in your code then, because that says 20. So I could probably use a constant there if I wanted to, couldn't I? That's cool. That's cool. Just out of interest, this is me being a bit silly really, but I like to have constants. It helps me understand things sometimes. If I just call it like bank bank address. Whoa. Whoa. I wonder if it'd like that. It smells that. Change it back anyway, so it matches up the example. Once I've used it 50 times, then I'll be better with it. Rightio. So it's just a case of knowing how to draw this bugger now, isn't it? So what we'll see is, we'll just see that one. So let's just say after you kill an enemy, it changes to level 2. Let's try that. Well, hey, cool. Emook, the saviour of me. Saviour of the universe. I'm not concerned about that collision detection. I know I can tweak that and make it good. How good is that? What I need to do is actually leave this as an unfinished project so that I can not convolute it. You know, I can go back to this and see how we did the background, how we did, you know, all this stuff, the compiler directives, whatever you want to call them. There's all sorts of little next nuances in here already. You know, the movement code, for example, is a big one. And when I add a tile map, this is going to get very convoluted. So what I'm probably going to do for tomorrow is start a complete new with just I'm going to try and draw some tiles, like a jungle tile scene. Add some comments. Yeah, I should. But the thing is, I've got to make sure I understand the bugger. So load MMU. See, this is what I don't understand. But I better put a little one of them, just so I know. That's my code for, do I know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I mean you've got them comments already. They are very helpful. And don't forget in the tools, I've still got your original one there, so I could always go like that to read. You know, I've got the super basic version there. Yeah, he really is a top dude. I can't believe I haven't made you VIP yet, Emu. You're gonna have to join the VIP club now. Basically, everyone's a VIP here, but you deserve it for sure. I've only got a few slots left for that, but you know, yeah, too right, micro. I mean, that's why it gets really hard for me to stream when I'm, well, to chat when I'm in this territory because this is the everything's brand new, every little thing. What I'm going to do when I go away is read up about all the next regs. What I hope to find is a reference with all of them listed, and I'm sure I can find that. I've seen it somewhere. I've read it. I think in the manual. Yeah, I'm going to come back though tomorrow with loads of tiles ready to be drawn. You know, they won't be special, but they'll be say 8 or 10 tiles. So ground, sky, wall, and it won't look anything as good as Mega Man. But I want to be able to make the same sort of thing as Mega Man. So we'll have like a 3,000 wide level, which consists of just a few tiles, you know, but repeated over and over. I hope so, Micro. Do you know what? My YouTube has blown up compared to in the last few days. I'm getting say 10 or 20 subscribers a day. Well, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but over 5 per day. Yeah, too right. I've got to make sure I get in on the curve. Was you going to mention that? Yeah, nice one, man. I don't know how it happened. I've noticed a few Russians though, quite a few Russian names when it says blah 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 is followed. So maybe I've been posted on some Russian forum or something. But I did notice a lot of English in there as well. Maybe I'm just getting recommended more by YouTube, and it's definitely got something to do with the next videos. Almost immediately when I started doing next, it happened. I think a lot of it has got to do with sometimes when you have better graphics. Likes as well, yeah. It is starting to increase because it's quite hard on YouTube. You've got a long way to go before you get anywhere really. But you know, millions and millions of people are watching YouTube. So if you do manage to get in there, it's mega. I'm actually hoping to become a game publisher for next. I want to produce physical copies of games that are worth buying. You know, definitely something like Final Fantasy. I really look forward to trying that because there's no real physics in that game. It's just collision detection, story-driven dialogue system, and then the turn-based fight system. And then you've basically got it. You just got to make good graphics. I think it will as well, micro. And even when it fizzles out, there'll be another thing come along that's similar. You know, there'll be like Game Boy next or something. Yeah, you might be right there, mate. Maybe I should try basic so I can bridge the gap between people doing basic and coming over to assembly, because I don't know how it feels to be that guy. Sometimes I think if I was a viewer who knew basic really well, they'd probably look at my channel and think, God, what the hell is he doing? You know, he's doing this all backwards. And I don't know, maybe I'm being paranoid there, but I must admit there's a heck of a lot in here to take in that I don't. If someone asked me to explain this everything line by line, I'd be screwed. Speed might not be so bad. Yeah, it can handle it, can't it? It can handle a lot more. I can't bloody wait. I mean, I am tempted to add more to this game, but has it sort of run its course, really? It's quite hard to add more to this, isn't it? Them destructible barriers will be really tricky. It's always this one. It's that bite thing when it goes over to the has a possibility of missing if you're right on the edge. You know, right on the edge of where the most significant bit is needed. Yeah, I've had a lot of people telling me basic runs super quick. There's some sort of ZX basic extended or something in there now. They save humanity. It's got to be tried on it. I guess could add a barrier in. That barrier will be really hard though. I'm thinking of a way to do it. Like, I'm trying to think of some easy way. I don't care if it's perfect. But I mean, even if you had say 4x4 chunks, that's still quite hard to do with the way we're drawing at the moment. If I was someone as clever as Emook, I'd try and make worms for this. But I think that is, I could probably go carry on for 3 years and still not be able to do that. Because you've got destructible backgrounds, you've got procedurally generated levels. Yeah. I mean, I'd be flabbergasted to see it, but I think it would be amazing. No, I keep repeating myself, but Final Fantasy is the way to go, man. It's just so easy to make, and there's a big interest in that. In all RPGs, lots of people love a good RPG. I think that's where my attention's gonna go to soon. I'm glad to hear that, Mook, because it'd be horrible it'd be soul destroying in a way to learn assembly and then find out basics just as fast. Zelda on the SNES, that's a cool game, yeah. I had Zelda on the NES like when it came out, and that blew me away. I thought I'd been used to Spectrum until then. ML way faster. Oh, machine language. Yeah, that's the good thing, isn't it? And there's a good prestige over it as well, isn't there? You know, if you can code in assembly, you could probably learn anything. That's the sort of general consensus. But yeah, it's not as hard as you think when you get going at it, is it? I mean, things like that scare people off because that's just so hard to understand if you don't know any. You know, to just you just have to know it. It's one of them things. Because the N, for example, is not declared anywhere, is it? I guess I just need to look up the compiler options um, documentation. I need to do a bit more reading. Store command. Oh, okay. Do they not have load on C64? I right. Yeah, I've lost the will on this particular project because for the reason I keep stating. I need to keep this as an example now, as a work before I ruin it. The key now is to redo all of what I've done here without having to go back and look at it. Then I know that I'm in a position to move on and learn more. It's an amazing system. There's all sorts of stuff to learn. Load store. Certainly do, Micro. I can't wait till tomorrow, to be honest, to add more. I'm gutted that I've got to go back to work. I can't wait for my next week off. I was supposed to have 2 or 3 weeks off. In the end, I got 1 week off, and they called me in on my day off after that week off. So I only technically got 5 days off. It's a bit annoying. If I could get like 14 days off, I'd get well into this. But I'll still be here. It's just obviously smaller chunks of progress each day because I have to fit in loads of other stuff. But it's exciting stuff. It certainly is brilliant, man. It really is. Because it is very simple there to load whole backgrounds. You can't say simpler than 3 lines there and then 1 line here. I mean, that's just super simple. Yeah, night micro. I'm off as well, actually, as well. Literally 2 minutes. Thanks for jumping in. Thanks very much for your help, Emook. You're keeping the channel rolling at a great speed. Yeah, thanks for jumping in. I hope you're here tomorrow. I certainly will be. If not, of course, I'll be here the day after and the day after anyway. So Have a good rest of your night. Anyone else watching, don't forget to give me a little follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube. Until then, till tomorrow, good night.